Hello dear students, this is the second video from the chapter 3 class 12 human reproduction. In this video I am going to discuss about the human female reproductive system, its structure and function. So let's get started with the main topic. Female reproductive system in human contain the three main structures: primary sex organ, that is the ovary; the secondary sex organ that includes the accessory duct, which are a pair of oviduct, that is fallopian tube, uterus, cervix and vagina, and the accessory gland is the mammary gland, and the external genitalia is the vulva. Ovaries. The ovaries are a pair located on either side of the lower abdomen in the human female, and it remain attached to the pelvic wall and the uterus by ovarian ligaments. The ovaries are the primary female sex organ that produces the female gametes, that are the ova, and the female hormone, that is the ovarian hormones. The shape of ovary is flattened, almond-like. It measures about 2 to 4 cm in length. The anatomy of the ovary. The outer region of the ovary is composed of developing follicles, and the middle region forms the stroma, which contain connective tissue, blood vessels and mature follicles. The stroma is divided into two regions, a peripheral cortex and an inner medulla. Oviducts or fallopian tubes. These are two small tubes around 10 to 12 cm in length, lying on either side of the uterus near the kidney. The opening of the fallopian tube is expanded into a funnel-shaped infundibulum. The end of the infundibulum has finger-like projections called fimri. They move closer to the ovaries at ovulation to collect the ovum after ovulation. The infundibulum leads to a wider part of the oviduct called ampulla. The isthmus is the last part of the oviduct, having a narrow lumen which joins the uterus. Uterus or womb. It is a single hollow structure which is muscular in nature and pear-shaped structure which is supported by ligament and is attached to the pelvic wall. The uterus is present between the urinary bladder and the rectum. The lower part of the uterus is very narrow, and this structure is called cervix. The cavity of this cervix is called cervical canal, which forms the birth canal along with the vagina during delivery of the baby. The uterus has three main layers, that are the perimetrium, myometrium and endometrium. Perimetrium is the outermost layer, which is thin and very thin layer, and the myometrium is a middle layer, which is a thick layer which is made up of smooth muscle fiber, and it contracts vigorously during the delivery of the baby. The endometrium layer, which is the inner layer that contains glands and many blood vessels. This layer undergoes cyclical changes during the menstrual cycle every month. Mammary gland, which is the accessory gland in the human female. This is a pair of glands that contain the glandular tissues and fatty tissues. Each glandular tissue is again divided into 15 to 20 mammary lobes, and each lobe contains a group of alveoli. The alveoli open into mammary tubules. The mammary tubules of each lobe open into a small mammary duct. Several mammary ducts join to form a wider mammary ampulla that is connected to the lactiferous duct just before the nipple, through which the milk is released. I would suggest you to remember this sequence in a flowchart way so that it becomes very easy for you to recall when you are finding it very difficult to remember the terms one after the other. So see how I am representing the flowchart. It's very easy for you to remember. Finally, the external genitalia, which is also known as vulva. The external genitalia is collectively called vulva, which contain the four main parts, namely the mons pubis, labia majora, clitoris and the hymen. Let's discuss about the four main parts of the vulva. The mons pubis, it is a cushion of fatty tissue that is covered by skin and pubic hair. The labia majora, these are the two folds of fatty tissues which extend down from the mons pubis and surround the vaginal opening. Just inside the labia majora are the labia minora, which encloses the vestibule. that contain the tiny opening of the urethra as well as the large mouth of the vagina. The clitoris, third part, which is a tiny finger-like structure which lies at the upper junction of the two labia minora above the urethral opening. Finally, the hymen, which is a thin mucous membrane that covers the vaginal opening, which is either partly or entirely covers the vagina. The hymen often breaks during the first intercourse or during sports activity like horse riding, cycling, or even sudden fall and jolt. So the presence or absence of hymen does not signify the virginity of a woman. This was all about the structure of the human female reproductive system. In the next video, I will discuss about the gametogenesis process, which are mainly the spermatogenesis and the oogenesis. So I hope this video has helped you a lot about knowing about the human female reproductive system. So thanks for watching the video, and please do subscribe the channel if you find it interesting and you want to know more about the other topics of the syllabus for class 12. Once again, I want to thank you and do share my videos. Take care. Bye.